And they're celebrating. That's Will Howard and Jack Sawyer, two young men who have willed this football team to find a new identity, willed this football team to not let the outside noise define them. And now, Timmy, they got a chance at a championship.
I tell you what, these two young men are great leaders for this team. They lead with their will, they lead with their heart, and you can see the buy-in. But it's also so many guys that are veterans on this team. Travion Henderson, you know, the way that he has stepped up and led. G. Scott, what he has done. Caleb Downs as a transfer from Alabama. They have so many veterans. And when your best players are also your best leaders and your hardest workers, that leads to a really good team.
And it's amazing that having been up there and felt the energy after that Michigan game, to see this team emerge. Ryan Day and his entire staff deserve immeasurable credit for making sure, Paul, they didn't quit, that they remained banded together to have this moment.
No, it is an extraordinary moment, and you know, people, as I mentioned, are talking about that one play, but the second day story is going to be something else. When we get to Monday night, you're going to hear all the naysayers talk about 2 years in a row, no SEC team. And you just reminded me, Judkins, Caleb Downs, a lot of these guys are going to Ohio State from the SEC. That's not the reason entirely, but it is a significant moment in time in this portal era where this great league is and what it has to do to come back.
When we came up here right as the game was ending to sit down and start this program, all three of our former players mentioned one play, and it wasn't that strip sack for a touchdown. It was the toss play. Walk us through why that was an incorrect moment.
I just think when you look at what Ohio State was doing so well, vertical penetration for most of the night, you're at the one, get vertical.
Listen, you preach all year and you teach physicality, you teach weight room, and when you have the goal, for the ball, first and goal at the one, it's what Ohio State did. They turned around and they said, hey, Quinshawn, go put it in. He hit his head right at the one, and he got in. Texas was not able to do that. It was a battle of the wills and the battle of the physicality, and I think you could see the difference there. And when you get to a second and goal, and I know you're not quite the same physicality as some of Ohio State, but I don't like it when you go lateral. Also against a fast team, and you go so lateral, so fast. You're setting yourself up in case there's a run through for it to be a third and long. And who's the reason for that play? Caleb Downs.
Weapon X, exactly. That's exactly what he's there to do, is to run and go hit. And then all of a sudden you set yourself up for failure with this one. Like Jordan said, you started at the 1, you're throwing the ball from the 12 or the 15. Look, it comes out, it's simple, Marty. This game was very even as far as statistics, as far as the numbers go. But when you look at it, Ohio State forced Texas into 2 turnovers, 1 being for touchdown. And then in the red zone, Ohio State 2 for 2. Texas 1 for 2. And the one got you. You don't know in football when it's only come down to 3 to 4 or 5 plays in every game that decides the winner and the loser. You have no idea which that one play will be, where it's going to be the first quarter, the last play in this first half, or the second or third to last play in the whole game. But that is the play that we're going to continue to go back as football people and say that's the one that cost you.
And you guys deserve credit. Before we left here at halftime, I asked you what wins the game. You said turnovers, you said physicality, and you said hell yeah to both of them. And that is exactly what decided
and
this
the
football
explosive
game.
play, you know, we mentioned,
that's right.
And it's that play that can change the game, and you were just feeling that whole second half, you were waiting on it. Who's going to make it? Who's going to make it? And, you know, Jack Sawyer, who didn't have the game that he's had the last few, but, man, his will to just keep competing and fight and get off a block and go make that play. That play wasn't made on extreme talent. That play was made on extreme heart.
Yeah, I give Will Howard a lot of credit, too, on that 4th and 1, 4th and 2 call when the turf monster got him before he tripped and fell. But it's just those plays is what kept Ohio State in it. They made those, and Texas ultimately just didn't make the play at the end when you had to have it. They got pushed backwards, and then they made the mistake. It's hard to say what you want to do when Ohio State knows you're going to have to throw the ball. It's from the 12-yard line. The windows are tight. It's not a lot of area where you're going to have a play that's going to be open right there. When they're playing combo coverage on everybody, and we're just going to rush our 4, and you got to be able to hold up and stand up and be able to throw it in a tight window. Your success rate and percentages are not in your favor, and it all starts because you go backwards on second down.
This man is stewing.
You know, Marty, what's going to haunt Steve Sarkisian all winter long is this. He could have beaten Ohio State tonight. That's not in question. And Tennessee couldn't have, and Oregon couldn't have, because they were both out of the game so quickly. But even though Texas made mistakes, they couldn't pass block, they couldn't develop a running game consistently, they still had a chance to put this game in their hands, and they let it all slip away. I mean, this was not the Ohio State team we've been hearing about on national programs. This was an awkward team that was affected maybe by the run and made enough mistakes to lose, but they made the plays to win. And it's really too bad for Texas because they could have won and should have won this game.
Paul, you mentioned no SEC teams in the national championship game once again. 2 of Ohio State's 3 wins in this year's playoffs came against SEC schools. The last time the Buckeyes beat an SEC team in the playoff, they went on to win the national title, and they will have that chance once again.